Hello, you are joining me, Stella, from Soul Space Unlimited at the Woods for a mindful walk as part of the Royal Voluntary Service Community Virtual Village Hall. So we're just going to go for a nice, relaxing, mindful walk. We're going to connect with nature, we're going to enjoy the scenery. I'll support you to ground and to feel connected using some mindfulness prompts. And yeah, so if we begin, we're just going to go into the main entrance of Pigneys Wood here in North Walsham. This is one of my favourite spots. It's really lovely. It's got a lovely view that I will share with you. And and we'll explore it together. And I'll stop at some of my favourite bits where there's some beautiful trees to connect with. It's quite a busy day here today, so I'm sure we'll come across some other people, which will be nice. But yeah, so for some of the walk I'm going to, as I mentioned, give you some prompts, but for some of the walk I will also be quiet and let you listen to the sounds of the wind in the trees, of the steps, and help you really connect with this place. So we know that nature has wonderful effects for our well-being. It helps us soothe and relax and reduces cortisol. It's so good for us. So that's what we want to support you to connect with today, because sometimes we can't get out and about for different reasons. So a little portal into nature for you today. Okay, so we're gonna go in together. This is a gorgeous tree that just stands at the entrance, as if it's welcoming us in. So I'd really like you just to make sure you're as comfortable as you can be whilst you're watching this. And a really nice way to begin is to start imagining, if you can, because all of our minds work differently, but most of us will be able to imagine a sensation of putting one foot in front of the other and joining me on this path, taking nice, grounded, steady steps. Can you imagine what that would feel like? Can you imagine that this is your steps, your feet on this path? One of my favourite things about visiting nature in the woods is every time I come, it's like a different place. Something's changed, something's grown, something's moved. It changes really quickly. And you can always find a new path that you didn't know was there, take a different route. And there's so many different metaphors as well. So I'm a therapist, and one of the therapies that I use with people is hypnotherapy and something called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So with these we explore metaphors and how powerful metaphors are for shifting thought patterns. And the reason that is because with a metaphor it's using like sort of an idea, a subtle way into the mind. So instead of saying something directly, when we use a metaphor, it kind of sneaks past the analytical thinking, overthinking, and goes straight to the unconscious, so it can settle into our mind more easily and make a change. And in the woods and in nature, there's so many different metaphors. For example, we've already explored walking on a path, putting one foot in front of the other. When I come to the woods, that's what I do. I put one foot in front of the other. So I'd love you to focus on that. What does it mean for you to put one foot in front of the other on this path with me? Does that feel good? Does it feel grounding? Maybe this is slower than you'd like to go, or whatever you're experiencing, just notice it. Perhaps there's other areas in your life where you could apply this metaphor of just putting one foot in front of the other, taking your time, connecting with all this beautiful nature. If we're lucky, we might see a deer. It does happen sometimes. They have muntjac deers around here. I'm sure we'll see some dogs. The light coming through the trees, all those different colours and shades. Okay, so a mindfulness prompt I would like to share with you is okay, those birds singing is as we walk along. Hi. I'd like you to really engage with what you hear and what you see. So to begin with, think of 3 things. You could go up to 5 if you feel that you can, but 3 is fine. 3 things that you can hear, and it's fine to do things that you could imagine hearing in this setting as well. So really engage, get your imagination going, and just list those to yourself. The more you can get, the better. I think we know the birds is definitely going to be number 1 for us all. But yeah, just begin to explore the surroundings. Imagine yourself here, and imagine 3 to 5 things that you can hear. I'll try and get a sighting of the birds for you. Okay, so my things were the sounds of the birds, the sound of my my outdoorsy trousers as I take those steps, they're just sort of brushing against each other, the sound of the wind, the breeze in the trees. It's nice and mild today, but there's a little bit of a breeze, which is really nice. I can hear the sound of cars off in the distance. And every now and then just a buzz as an insect flies past, which is nice. And I could hear some people and dogs in the background, so I think that was 6, they were the things that I could hear. You might not be able to hear as well as me, but as I said, you could just imagine, guess what you could hear if you were here in person. Oh, I thought that was a deer, I got excited. Okay. Next I want you to do the same, but this time with things you can see. So this might be easier, you might be able to get, well, just get as many as you can, I suppose. Definitely 5 or more, I think. And you could begin by listing obvious things, so things that are easy for your eyes to find. And once you've done that and you've got a nice list, you can begin to think, well, what things would you not necessarily notice, but as you get closer, begin to see. What's on the ground? details on a leaf. Cobwebs on the leaf. Look at that gentle breeze. These leaves are so light. It's really lovely. You can just watch them flutter and float. So the beauty of mindfulness and engaging with nature like this is when we slow down, we notice so much more, so many things that usually we would just rush past or miss. You know, whatever pace your life is at, modern life can feel quite intense, quite overstimulating for a lot of us. There's a lot going on and it's very easy to get caught up in that. But taking time to really just notice, focus in the moment as much as you can, and when your mind starts to think about other things, you can just notice that and bring it back to what you're seeing. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny spot. Hopefully you've got a nice list of things you can see. So I'm really noticing all the twigs on the floor. I'm noticing all the shades on the different leaves and how there's evidence of some spiders, some cobwebs. Sorry if anyone's afraid of spiders. I haven't seen any. I'm noticing little bits of plants sort of floating through the air. I don't imagine that you might not be able to see them, but I can see them floating around. Twigs, branches, sun, green, trees, you know, it's nothing too obvious. Just to share another metaphor that I often think about when I'm walking at the woods. We have these obvious paths that we're meant to walk and most people walk, but then we can also go off track and make our own path. So we can find a path less trodden and explore and also get playful. Sometimes being in the moment is so much about being playful, connecting with that inner child. We become so serious sometimes as adults. We're about to come to a lovely spot with a lovely view. I can hear some people, so I will just direct the camera down so that I don't get their faces and just focus on the view. But you might get to see some dogs. Hear that beautiful sound. Oh, there's a dog. Hello. Sorry. That's okay. Oh, look. Cute. Right.
Come on, back. Good boy. Molly, do you want some? Polly Perkins, you can have some.
Look at that view. It's beautiful.
Mikey can have one. Now, no more. Don't keep coming back for more. They're great, isn't it? So what's wrong with her today? Really upset.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
You're going to cut the grass?
I say think you've had it. Is that Sherlock?
No more now. No more pollen.
I hope you enjoyed that view. It's a really nice spot just to sit and have a quiet moment. But for now, we're going to go along this path. Okay. Now I'd like you to imagine 5 things that you might feel if you were here. So these could be sensations, textures. Think about the textures of trees. You can see here somebody's carved something in, kids I imagine. The texture of the bark, the leaves. You might feel some of that breeze or that sunny warmth on your skin, on your face. What would that feel like? So as I stepped in here, it's got nice and cool. It's very fresh. What would that air to breathe? You know, there's a difference, isn't there, when you step out in nature? The air feels so much fresher and cleaner. These trees are doing so much for us. It's gorgeous air that we can breathe in. I'm going to take you to one of my favourite trees. It's an amazing tree. I would say it's like the mother tree here. And I think we've just missed bluebell season, sadly. We're just having a little look. Oh, we might be able to catch some actually. Some over there. Let's see if we can get a bit closer to some bluebells. Aha. Here we go. Here is the tree. It's a big one. It's a good one. Yeah, I won't be climbing that tree today. There's another tree I like to climb, but not that one. So there's some evidence around nature, connecting with nature and trees. So we know that there's so many different communicating pathways under the ground in woods and forests where trees are communicating with each other, connected by different kinds of fungi. There's a wonderful book called The Mother Tree that talks about this, the scientist that's discovered and explored this. And that sort of lends to this idea that there's a lot going on that we're not aware of when we're in the woods, or in the forest, or in nature. She even talks about how different trees interact with each other. Some sort of grow together and support each other, or grow away from each other. It's really interesting. That's The Mother Tree, that book. But right now, just to let you know, if you can access nature and get out into nature, something you can do is just place your back up against a tree. So we're all energy, we're all made up of energy, and nature is energy too. Everything's energy. So if we want to feel more balanced, there's a lot going on. You can experience a nice grounding by just this walk with me. And the mind-body connection means that even though you're not here, if you're imagining it and you're engaging with it, you will feel a benefit, which is really amazing. But here, I've got this tree, trunk, this nice sturdy strength up against my back, which means it's balancing me, it's balancing my energies. Yeah, so it's free. That's what I love about nature. It's free, it's mostly accessible, and even if you can't get out you can watch things like this. We get house plants, which are wonderful to bring in some of that nature into your house. Pictures, you know, just if we can surround ourselves with nature, Mother Nature, then we're gonna reap the benefits. We're gonna feel better. Okay. So just exploring some of these textures. You know, what colours do you see? So quite often we would just think, oh, you know, it's a tree, it's kind of brown. But if you begin to look, there's so many different colours and tones and textures. There's a bit of green, grey, obviously brown, some white. There's a lot more going on than we initially realised. We're slowing down together. We can explore all these different layers. Some ferns, some moss, gorgeous green moss. Okay. You can see the change of the seasons. So before the woodland, the bed of the woodland was completely filled with these gorgeous, gorgeous blue flowers. It's a bit like a sea of blue, and it's starting to fade now. And snowdrop season's lovely as well. But it's really nice to observe and experience those shifts in the season. You know, in spring is about so much of spring is about new life, new beginnings. We can often experience a kind of rush of new energy. Sometimes people feel a bit anxious and overwhelmed by that energy. Other people just feel more, upbeat. But obviously not everybody. We're all affected in different ways. But it tends to be a time that people are drawn to come out of that sort of wintry hibernation. Obviously we're less connected with the seasons than we used to be as humans, so it makes sense that we might not be as in touch with those shifts. Hopefully you're still with me. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little while, a few minutes, so that you can really engage with what you see. And I just encourage you to really think about just being here, noticing it, taking nice deep breaths. So that's really important. Try and breathe in through your nose and nice and longer out through your mouth. That will help you to relax into the experience and just notice what you see. And enjoy. I can actually just see the moon up there. I don't know if you can see that, but the moon is still visible, which is amazing. Oh, what a pretty colour these flowers are. I don't know what they're called, but they're very pretty. Gorgeous pink. Different tones of pink as well. I love these. Look at these little, you can see a little ant maybe, if you can see ants on that plant. I love the way the petals, the leaves, they curl around. It's beautiful, isn't it? And more here. And there's lots of little ants on there. Seeing things like this makes me want to get arty and do some drawing. Quite often nature inspires us in different ways. Oh, I've just seen a deer and I didn't catch it. There, you see that? I hope you can. I hope I caught that for you. It happened very quickly, but that was a muntjac deer. Gorgeous yellow, colour that represents happiness, joy. Feels very summery to me. So a bit more into the summer. This is it's a wasp's nest, I believe, or a bee's nest. No, a wasp nest. And they do come out. There's quite a lot of them around, so I tend to avoid this bit during that time. So remembering to keep those nice deep breaths and to really imagine taking one step at a time, that you're here, the sun, beautiful sun's on your face, on your skin. You might notice what you're wearing, imagining what sort of shoes, maybe walking shoes. Oh, this is so nice. Looking at those different details. Gorgeous. It really is a different place to what it was a couple of months ago. Just completely come to life. I don't know if you know Norfolk or you've been to Norfolk. You could be anywhere in the UK or the world watching this, I suppose. Norfolk is known for its nature. It is a very beautiful place. Lots of gorgeous beaches, particularly in North Norfolk, which is where I am. And lots of lovely woods. I wonder if you're a beach person or a woods person. I have to say I'm a woods person. But I do like the beach too. Some birds, pigeons. Okay, so your next sort of mindfulness prompt, connecting prompts with this space is, now I'd like you to think of, again, as many as you can, but I'd say 3 to 5, but more is wonderful. What words, descriptive words, would you associate with this place? Would you describe it as beautiful, as natural, as quiet? You know, just have a bit of fun, explore what words come to you. We all get different things from places and experiences. How you experience this right now with me is very different to how somebody else might be. Might connect with memories of places that you've been when you were younger, perhaps. I'm going into the shade a bit more now. And there's some squirrels around, so again I'll try and catch one, but they move even quicker than deer, I think. I'm just connecting with those descriptive words. If you told somebody about this walk, about this place, how would you describe this place? I think I'd describe it as peaceful, healing, beautiful, spacious, relaxing, grounding. I wonder what ones you got. You can add them in the comments to this video. Please do share, that would be really nice actually. So there's something very grounding. I've used that word a few times, but what does it really mean to say this place is grounding? So we've got different energies. This connects to different things such as shamanic approaches, sort of ancient approaches to nature, to human connection with nature. I practice Qigong sometimes on this virtual village hall, and that's all about balancing sort of the heaven earth and the chi, the heaven chi and the earth chi. So yeah, just with that in mind, we've got all these different energies going around, and what happens when we enter a place like this, the more we connect with a place like this, is it helps us come into our body. So that's really key. You know, mindfulness is all about connecting with the moment so we can have some freedom, a detachment from the busy thoughts, you know, the head going, analytical mind, the thought processes that very often tend to cause suffering, like the Buddhists would explain. You know, when we're worried about the future, we feel anxiety, all of these things that are so you know, predominant in our society now. And what happens when we enter nature is we literally ground into the body. We connect, we feel. And the more we can be in the moment and notice things, you know, just what we see, what we hear, what we feel, being present as we can, because it is like a tool, it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the more you do mindfulness, the more you practice being present in the moment, using those tools and prompts of what you see, what you hear, what you notice, what you feel. The easier it becomes. Of course, there's some days where we feel more grounded and present than others. Other days we might feel more busy and up in our head, or distracted, troubled, and that's okay. Sometimes being present is just being present for just a moment, a few minutes, just to notice that you're feeling overwhelmed or your head is busy. You don't need to fix it, you can just be aware. Awareness is key. It's when we're going, busy, 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 and we don't even realise it. Sometimes we think that we're relaxing because we're sitting still or we've got our feet up or something like that, but actually the mind might be going and might be causing us stress. So taking those nice deep breaths, remember in through the nose, nice and long out through the mouth. That helps you to show your nervous system that it's time to relax and slow down. There's a gorgeous smell here that I wish you could smell. It's like, it's floral, it's the flowers, I think. It's lovely. This path is quite uneven. Gorgeous greens, these different trees. I want to take you to Dilham Canal. There's a little canal just a few minutes away before we end our walk together today. As we said, please do share what you're getting from this video. Let us know if you enjoy it, what you like about it, what you see, what you think about this spot, and if you'd like to experience another walk like this, and just let us know. So we're touching all those metaphors at the start. So I'll say a little bit more about that, about how entering this place, the woods, how many different ways it can show us. So some kind of resolution or some kind of peace. So by that I mean we can enter a place like this with a problem, something that's playing on our mind maybe, and the woods in its sort of wisdom can show us different things. For example, it might show us that actually we are okay, and it might put things in perspective. Nature has a wonderful way of doing that, because we can get caught up in things that we might realise don't matter that much. But of course some things, do, they're big problems. But other things might actually not be as bad as we think they are. That's part of that grounding ability. You might have heard of social prescribing, so nature is getting sort of more prescribed as something that we can access that will really help us with any ailments, any issues we have. Taking a walk could be like just popping, a pill. It's taking medicine. But it's very nourishing and it doesn't have any side effects. We hope. You might get a bit tired if you walked a bit far or a bit sunburnt, but yes, so it can help us find some kind of answers, some kind of resolution. Just help us relax. What else can we find? We can find these different paths, different shapes. Some paths are wide, well trodden, like we explored. Some paths are smaller, more winding. You might not be sure where you're going. And the light and the dark. You know, the sunlight that is coming through the trees. Some areas there's more shade. So again, it's that balance of sort of the heaven and the earth, the light and the dark. In traditional Chinese medicine, philosophy, you probably know the yin and the yang. It's all about that, the polarity of those different energies, and we all need balance. If we've got too much sun, it's too much. We're going to be too hot, too sort of overstimulated. But a bit of sun is lovely for most of us. The shade can be really nice and cool and soothing. But again, too much shade, it's not going to be so nice. So we can notice the balance of these different energies, different parts of nature, and how this balance might be in balance, or it might be off in our own life. Sometimes when we feel just something is off, it's because our system's out of balance, and quite often we can reset in a place like this. Continuing your nice deep breaths. So we're starting to get closer to the water now, to the canal. I can smell the canal, there's sort of this watery, boggy smell. When I was here not too long ago, I saw a snake moving around in there. Hear all the birds chirping. When I come here, it reminds me that this is not my spot, this is nature's spot. And I'm just a guest. And I think we could all do with reminding ourselves of that, right? That we are a guest with nature. Sometimes there's these gorgeous swans, a little swan family I saw the other day. Oh, I don't think they're here today. Don't know if you can see that house over there is what we were looking at, that view on the hill a little while ago. It's a chirpy bird. Hi. Ah, what a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. And I encourage you to use those mindfulness prompts about what you can see, what you can hear, what you can feel, how you describe something. And you can guess, you can imagine, even if you can't really list exactly what you see, what you hear. And that's going to support you in different settings. It doesn't have to be in nature, you could do it at home, in your room, sitting on a chair, just to help you come into the moment. But yeah, any way you can access nature, I really encourage you to. And I encourage you to take away some of this today, let that relaxation stay with you, and any way you can engage with nature. How can you bring more nature into your life? As the seasons change, I think that would be a really lovely thing to do. And if you feel drawn to, you could journal on some of what you experienced today here, just to expand the session. And see what comes through, what you got from it, what you'd like to, any actions that you could take where it would be easy for you to introduce nature into your life. in small, it can be tiny ways, remember, just a plant in the house, planting a seed in the garden. You know, it doesn't have to be a walk in nature, but it could be. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.